Hey guys, coming up on the end of summer now, we've got a lot of listings that might be lingering on the market. Two-thirds of the listings in America have been on the market over 30 days. 40% of the listings have been on the market over 60 days. So we're seeing a lot more listings hitting the market. There's a little bit less activity on the sales side, less pending sales. So when we look at that, what happens is we're having a little bit of a buildup of inventory. In some price bands, we're starting to drift towards a buyer's market. Now, if we have a listing like that, or even if we have a listing that's been on the market a couple of weeks with not a lot of activity, why don't we try this script? We're going to do the refresh approach. So we get on the phone with all of our sellers and we say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this week I'm refreshing all my listings. And here's what that means. I'm changing out the lead photos. So it's going to look like a brand new listing in MLS. I'm going to change out the description of the property. I'm also going to just review all the data points, maybe make sure that we didn't miss anything, make sure everything's totally perfectly dialed in and accurate. And then I'm going to ask you on two other things what we might want to improve on the listing. I call this meeting the market because we got a lot more competition than we've had in the past. Meeting the market means that we take a look at number one, is there any incentives that we want to offer to buyers or buyers agents? So on the buyer side, we could look at offering the incentive of maybe buying down interest rate or offering a little bit of a incentive on the closing costs, maybe helping some of the closing costs or down payment assistance, or even offering something simple like a home warranty. Then on the other side with the buyers, agents, the ones that are out there actually showing homes, we could offer to give them a little bit more of a commission than what we originally offered. If we started at X%, maybe we can go up by 0.5%, another 0.25% to incentivize those buyers agents. That's a couple things we could do. Don't have to do anything, but just some things to think about. And then on the price, I have been looking at our peer group, those listings that we're competing with, and I have looked at all the ones that have sold over the last month. And of the four that have sold that were similar to ours, three of them had a pretty major price reduction before they sold. So I would encourage you to take a look at price. And usually when we do that, it's going to help us on another big front. And here's the biggest reason why you might want to consider a price adjustment, especially when I'm doing a refresh of your listing. And that's this. I'd like to schedule an open house with your property. And when we do an open house, the number one marketing method we can use to get your house in front of every active buyer in your price category is a price adjustment. And so here's what I recommend. We do a price adjustment. Then what happens is that gets put in the MLS. Every buyer that's in the category of your price range, that's looking in your price range, now is going to get an alert. It's going to be sent to them by email. It's going to say, hey, there's a new listing or an existing listing that's had a price reduction that's in your price range, and you should take a second look. And what we're going to put into that second look is in the remarks, we're going to say, hey, and this house is being held open this weekend. So if there's 2, 3, 4, 500 buyers that we'll call the backlog of buyers, they're all going to get a notice. Hey, this listing has had a price reduction and it has an open house this weekend. It's a great way to put your house in front of every single buyer that's out there, laser focus. It's really one of the best targeting methods that we have. So your call, your decision, what would you like to do? And then let them decide. They may decide to do a small price reduction. Small is better than nothing. Or they may want to maybe make a little bit of a bigger price reduction. Have a conversation about what that reduction is in terms of percentage of list price. So that is going to be this. I'm going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, on when we're reducing the price, a lot of times when that gets sent to all the buyers in the market, it's going to show up as a percentage. So if we reduce the price by 1%, it's going to be 1% price adjustment. Might not be the most motivating thing in the world. Most of the time when we're doing an adjustment, I always recommend at least a 5%. You can do less, but I recommend a 5% to get more motivated buyers out to look at your house. So those are some conversations that I'd recommend you start having today, right now in your markets, to get sellers sold before the end of summer. Have a great day. Good selling.